Welcome to the Kenny Pickett Show on Panther-Lair.com, presented by Well Hive. He's Kenny Pickett. I'm Chris Peak. And Kenny, it's a little bit of a different vibe this week. Last week, we sat down and talked after you guys lost to Western Michigan. Today, we're talking after a 77-7 blowout. And I mean, you go into these games, FBS against FCS, it's kind of, there's sort of an expected outcome. Sometimes the games are closer than close. Some are closer, some are more blowouts. I mean, what did you kind of take from that game on Saturday? Pat Narduzzi kind of said there's not a lot you can take, but I mean, what did you guys take out of it? What did you personally take out of that win on Saturday?
Yeah, I'd agree with Coach. There's not much to take out of it. Just the fact that we, got back on track, we won convincingly, which is, the goal we had for, coming to that game. We felt like we could, get out front early and just kind of run away with it. And that's what we did. So I think you just can take away that, we executed well and, got some confidence back, and we'll just get rolling into ACC play now.
You mentioned after the game about a players only meeting that you had held and some of the other leaders had held. I know you talked about it then, and I think some of the other guys were asked about it, but what went into that? I mean, what was kind of your thinking, sort of putting that together?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, losing to Western Michigan, no one expected that on our team, that, we were going to lose that game. And, some guys take it differently, and just being a veteran guy on the team that, I've been, a part of big wins. I've been a part of bad losses. And, I think we just needed something to get everybody back on track and focus on the goal that we have for this season. And, I think, we accomplished it. We had a great week of practice. So, we just got to keep that going.
Did you kind of feel like there were some issues that needed to be addressed, or was it more like sort of preventative? Like, all right, we want to stop this before anything gets out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say both. I mean, there were some things that happened that, I didn't like personally. And I think a lot of guys didn't like. And obviously, and it was preventative. You don't want guys to lose focus, after the third week. So it was a little bit of both. And, it went really well. I think it was, received well. And, guys moved on. They came back, Monday and Tuesday with a great mindset.
Kind of each week we do the best thing from the last game, and then the thing you feel like you can improve on the most. I figure, just in the interest of routine, we should do it again here. I mean, what do you feel like was the best thing you guys did on offense on Saturday? And was there something you can improve on? I think you had a drive where you punted, so maybe it was that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had explosive touchdowns, which is, the one thing we really want to improve on. And it's something we've been doing well. We have to continue to do well. Yeah, I mean, we had that 3 and out, which is, the one thing we wanted to work on. We did pretty well. Don't like that we had the one. There was a read I missed, and there were some things we had to clean up. But, overall, I think, a lot of positive to take from it. And now going into a really good, Georgia Tech team coming off a big win, there's some things we can take into it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about Georgia Tech in a second, but I'm curious, when you guys go for, you go in on Sunday, you sit down with the coaches and the review. I mean, are there many critiques after a game like that? I mean, like, are the coaches sort of digging deep to try and find something to kind of ding you on, or is it pretty positive and hard to find any real negatives in that one?
No, there's always small details that, the normal eye would miss, just as a fan watching it versus, a coach and watching technique and detail. So there's always a lot more. The one thing I've learned is it's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. So it's always, when you get back into the film room and you watch, it kind of puts it into a different perspective for you. And there's always things you can take away.
You guys obviously had to move some things around on the offensive line this week, but it seemed to me like your left side, Carter Warren and Marcus Minor, it seemed like those guys are playing pretty well for you over there. I mean, is that what you're seeing as well? Are those guys really kind of protecting you on the left side?
Yeah, I mean, I think those two veteran guys who, really developed a really good relationship. I think, when Marcus came in, two very similar guys with personality and just how they go about their business as pros. So I think, those two guys are doing a great job. I think Cradle did a really good job of coming in at center. He really didn't get a lot of work there, but he's had experience, and, it pays off having that experience getting thrown into the game. And then Matt Cassava is coming in, doing a great job at right tackle. Gabe went down to guard, which he has some experience at. So I think everyone was pretty comfortable with where they were at, except for Matt playing on that right side was something new to him. He was pretty much always at left. So to see him go in there and play at the level he did, I was happy for him. He did a great job.
I was trying to figure out, I think Jordan Addison has about 300 yards and 6 touchdowns over the last 2 games, but he hasn't been the ACC receiver of the week either of those 2 weeks. I mean, what does he need? Does he need to catch 4 touchdowns in a game, 5 touchdowns? Like what's missing? I mean, I think they gave it to the NC State kid this week, and I know he beat Clemson, but I mean, Jordan had like 3 touchdowns for the second week in a row. Is there anything missing from his game right now? It seems like he's about all of it.
That's fine. I didn't even notice that, honestly. I don't even know who we got it the week before. I don't know who played better than the performance he had again the week before. I mean, he's just stacking good performances. That's what we want to do, is just keep stacking week by week. It's only going to get harder. So, and we know that, and we'll be prepared for it.
You got that 100-yard game out of Rodney Hammond on Saturday. And again, we understand you're playing against an FCS opponent, but it looks like, I mean, do you get the sense that all 3 of those guys, Rodney and Vincent and Izzy, are all really pushing each other? Is that competition starting to elevate that room a little bit from what you can see?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, competition does that, and it brings the best out of guys. And it's really, something you need in all the position rooms, I think, in order to be successful as a team. But I think, all 3 of those guys are doing a great job. And it was great to see Rodney step up and, really have some explosive runs. And like I said, previously in this season, that I think more and more as he gets comfortable and more playing time and, he gets acclimated to playing at this level, he'll continue to get more and more as we go.
Kind of made a reference there to the NC State receiver. They beat Clemson. Clemson's now got 2 losses on the season and 1 loss in the ACC. Carolina and Virginia both have 2 conference losses so far. I mean, like, Wake Forest is by record the best team in the conference right now. Are you looking around the league and just saying, like, man, this thing's more wide open than it's been since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's, you always, at the end of every Saturday, you look and you see what everybody else did and where it's all standing. And I think, at least from, the players that I know around the conference and everything, we all had a feeling that it was going to be pretty competitive this year with how tight every team seems to be with all the guys that they had come back. So I'd be lying if I said I was surprised, but I think it's a little bit more chaos than usual. But I think everyone's just taking it week by week, and it's going to be changing here. So probably, the last game of the season.
I mean, is it kind of exciting as a player to see that? Not like I know you guys as players didn't look at it as well. There's Clemson and the rest of us, but I mean, everybody on the outside looks at it that way, that the league was just Clemson and then 13 other teams. But now, like you said, I mean, it really does seem wide open. I mean, you guys get more and more fired up as it, seems like you said, it seems like the teams are all, like, everybody seems to have a chance right now, except for like Florida State,
Yeah, I mean, I think just the sense of urgency just increases for everybody. And, I was telling our team, every week's a championship game, so that's how you have to treat it. We got 8 championships to go this season, and we have our first, in conference and in division test against a really good team. So it's going to be like that every single week.
So what, when you look at Georgia Tech, I think they had 3 sacks, I think, against North Carolina, and like 8 tackles for loss or something. I mean, how were they able to have that success? And I mean, what have you seen out of their defense as you've been looking at them?
Yeah, I mean, I think from top to bottom, a really solid team that has a lot of veteran guys on it that came back from last year, doing a little bit, some different things schematically, which I think, threw some of the teams off earlier, in the season, that they didn't get a chance to watch a lot of film on it and be prepared for it. I think that, credits to their coaching staff. That was a, really great move by those guys. And it obviously shows. I think they're one of the better defenses in the country right now, definitely in the conference.
I was reminded of some articles from last December. Obviously, there was the post-game handshake with the 2 head coaches. I know they smoothed everything over, but I think your head coach had a tweet about cold showers. Is there cold showers at Bobby at the visiting locker rooms at Bobby?
Yeah. For some reason, the heat just doesn't get into the visiting locker room. So yeah, it's usually from what I remember, it's always cold showers there.
Is there anywhere else that's like? I mean, are there any other road stadiums that you've run into that?
Not that I could think of. Georgia Tech just is always the one that stands out. We played there, this is going to my 3rd time playing there now. So it's, crazy how many times I played there. But yeah, that off the top of my head, that's really the only one. I mean, Tennessee's locker room was older. That was probably the oldest looking locker room I've been in with the showers. So it's an old place, but it was a great stadium.
Did you go down to Georgia Tech your freshman year? Did you make that trip?
I did.
Okay. So, I mean, so what, you've been there already 4 times. This will be your 5th time. I mean, you feel like you know your way around the place pretty well? I mean, all the tunnels, get out to the field and stuff. Are you pretty, the team hotel pretty well and all that stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, it's my fourth time playing there, right? Yeah, so yeah, I have a pretty good understanding of that stadium, the layout, and where everything is.
Are you guys able to, I mean, I always like going on that trip. I like Atlanta. I think it's a cool place. I mean, are you able to get out of the hotel at all? Like, night before the game, or if you have a night game, can you go out for lunch or anything like that?
No, there's no leaving the hotel. We get there, we have meetings and walkthroughs, and obviously bed check, and you get up and go play the game. So there's really no time to go, walk around or really take it all in. You're on a business trip. You go take care of business. You get home.
That's too bad. Well, after your playing career is over, you should go down and hang out in Atlanta. It's a fun place. But all right, we'll take some questions from the fans as we do every week. First question from Butler Pitt fan here says, how much has having a tight end like Lucas Krull helped open up the offense? Now, we're asking this question the week after Lucas actually didn't score a touchdown, but still, nevertheless. And you got a lot of plays out of Gavin Bartholomew. So, I mean, you got tight end production. But part of his question, he says, it seems like the offense Mark Whipple wants to run needs a tight end. I mean, he's got a history of using tight ends. How big of a piece of the offense is it, and how much does it kind of affect everything else you guys want to do on offense when you have a tight end who's a receiving threat like Lucas and to a certain extent Gavin?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge advantage to the offense. I mean, I think obviously you could see it this season. Now having, finally having Lucas and Gavin. Gavin did a great job this past week. He's continuing to improve and get better and better. But Lucas just opens a lot of things up, either for himself or, the guys on the outside. If he's not making plays, he's, probably drawing coverage, which is opening up, the guys on the outside. So, he's been doing a great job. And obviously in the run game too, having a big tight end like that can run block and also get out and pass plays. And, he just opens a lot of things up for us. I think it's shown pretty early here.
All right, next question is from Vetch, and he's asking about quarterback coaches. And I meant to ask you this before we started taping. The guy you work with in New Jersey, Tony, I always mess up on his last name. I've talked to him, and he's told me how to pronounce his last name, and I still mess up. How do you pronounce his last name?
Rasiopi.
Okay, I was going to be close to that, but not right on. All right, so the question from Vetch is, you work with two great quarterback coaches that you clearly respect a lot. How does the training and instruction that you receive from Tony Rasiopi differ from what you receive from Coach Whipple? Are there any steps taken to ensure that the instruction you're receiving from one doesn't conflict with what you're being told from the other coach? I think that's an interesting question. Is there kind of a collaboration when you've got a quarterback coach you work with on the side between him and your coordinator?
Yeah, what was great about, with Coach Rasiopi, I think he met Coach Whip shortly after I think he got hired, and they had a chance to talk when he was, Coach Whip was recruiting in Jersey because, Coach Rasiopi's at the Hun school. So they were able to talk a little bit there. And I think they're very familiar and, conceptually, and, Tony does a great job, mechanically with myself. And I just kind of go to him for all the mechanical things. And Coach Whip is, he doesn't like to change guys' motion. He wants you to be comfortable and relaxed and play the way you want to play, in terms of mechanics wise. So, it's kind of a good marriage where I have Tony as, mechanics. I can go work with him. And then obviously Coach Whip, being my quarterback's coach scheme, going through progressions, going through reading defense, all that stuff. Coach Whip really does a great job with that. So I kind of have, the best of both worlds with those guys.
Sorrento's Ranch asks, what's your favorite Pitt tradition? And I think probably, the question is like things you guys do as a team. You know what I mean? Like what are some of those traditions you really enjoy? It's sort of really a part of, being a member of the Pitt football program.
I mean, we have some funny ones. I'll keep in the locker room. I'd say, one of my favorite things is the victory lights. I think that's real special, really unique. I love driving, through campus at night, and you see those victory lights, having that good feeling, you had a great weekend. And I know everyone, around the campus, around the city can see it. So that's pretty special.
All right, Pugs35 says, which of your former or current teammates could you see getting into coaching one day once they're done playing? And is that something you'd want to try someday yourself?
Absolutely. I think, I'd love to stay around the game any way possible, whether it's just helping, coach quarterbacks or, help guys get recruited, whatever I could do to help, the younger guys, kind of pass the torch on to them. But one guy I'd say, it's a good question. I think Jimmy Morrissey would be an unbelievable coach. I think he has a great mind for the game, and watching him, teach the younger guys throughout my years here, I think he has a pretty good knack for it and will be a really good coach.
All right, last one then. Zookeeper 2000 says, if you weren't a Division I quarterback, what would you be doing right now?
That's a good question. I never even thought of that. Ever since I was little, this is all I've ever wanted to do. So maybe I love baseball. I probably would have gave baseball a crack at that and see where I could have went with it. But I'd be playing sport. I'd be playing a sport. I know that for a fact. I couldn't see myself just sitting around not doing much. So I'd say probably trying to play baseball somewhere.
All right, Kenny. Thank you for answering those questions. As always, it's always interesting to see what we come up with. Thanks for your time and good luck on that trip to Atlanta. Good luck at Georgia Tech.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks.